You can do something with this tree of yours. Oh my goodness. It's your face. Hi. What you doing? Stella has been living in this bioactive toad ranch enclosure for just over a year. So I want to go into a little bit more detail about how it's been doing. I haven't done a ton with it since she moved in last year. So we're gonna go through and talk about how to maintenance a 12-foot long bioactive enclosure that a 12-foot retic lives in and revamp it a little bit. So this week's horribly edited video is going to be focused on Stella's enclosure. I know I did a Stella update last week, but I wanted to do a deep dive on her enclosure itself because I got a lot of questions about it. And we have a giveaway happening over on Instagram with some substrate from GrowMed. So kind of good timing. If you want to go check out that giveaway, you can pop over to Instagram and check that out. All of the rules for entering that giveaway will be over there. But yeah, let's dive in. Hi, every time I move her leaf, she's like, food? Food? No food. I know. What? Your tree is moving. What's happening? Quick rundown of the enclosure itself as it stands now. It's a 12-foot long, 4-foot tall, 30-inch deep toad ranch bioactive enclosure. So we're going to revamp everything and share how we maintenance these enclosures. Having her in here for about a year has been really helpful because I've been able to see kind of how she utilizes the space. She actually hangs out in the cool side of her enclosure for the most part, most of the time, unless she's basking up on her shelf. She was using this hide a lot. She's not using it so much anymore since she got off of her eggs and all of her eggs pipped. I'll link that story if you want to check it out. So yeah, I think the plan of action, I really want to utilize more plants in this enclosure. I've never had to replace a plant for her, knock on wood. So we'll see how I can maneuver that a little bit. She actually knocked off she used to have another RHP on this side. She somehow knocked it off because retics are special, but she hasn't really needed it. She's, again, because she hangs out on that cool side, I've just left that RHP off. So I think what I'm gonna do instead is trim back some of these like trees and propagate those. We've done this before. They like to grow, which is awesome. And I have some additional plants that I want to mount either both on that sidewall over there or one on that sidewall and one on that sidewall. I'm actually gonna wind up taking out all of the cork bark and trimming up her plants and mixing in some fresh substrate. And yeah, we'll see how things go. Hi. So you can kind of see, I know I took it out. I'm sorry, is that not where it's supposed to go? So as you can kind of see, honey pie, I need to get in there. Hi, can you come out? Come on. I know, I'm not food, sad face. So I don't know if you saw, but as I was taking out her hide, some dust kicked up. So her substrate is a little on the dustier side right now. So I wanna fix that. Hi, you wanna come up? You wanna come say hello to the phone? Oh my gosh. So if I kind of mix this in, you can probably, I don't know if you can see it, but it gets a little dusty and I don't like it being dusty because that can make them sneeze and cause some respiratory issues. So we're going to fix that by mixing in some additional substrate, and I'll share details on that in a minute, and also help better support. She has a really robust colony of isopods in here. I'll get some footage of that in just a second. I'm trying to figure out. They like to migrate. Ah, there's some. Where's all your isopods? Where'd you put them? Okay, now that I've done all of the unnecessarily long introing, let's get to work and clear this out a little bit. Something that I see pop up in bioactives a lot is spider webs, especially when you have a robust colony of isopods like Stella does. Here's some isopods. She has dairy cows and Oreo crumbles in here. And they both have been decently prolific, But yeah, if you see spider webs pop up, it's not necessarily a bad thing. If they look like they're bothering the retics or eating all of your isopod, then obviously remove them. But generally, it's not going to be an issue. Isopod and an eaten piece of poop. All right, so the cork bark pieces have like isopods hanging out in them, so I don't want to bring them out of the enclosure and chance having isopods kind of escape. They would just desiccate and die, but I'd rather not have that happen. So I just have the cork bark sitting on top of her shelves for now. And the next step is going to be getting her out. Hi honey, will you come out by yourself? Think about it. And I'm going to trim back the ZZ plants. So the ZZ plants are growing, but they definitely have like these squished branches or collapsed branches. So I'm going to trim those up a little bit. Stella is helping. Are you helping? Stella is coming to check out what I'm doing. They're such curious animals. So I like it when they are used to me being in their enclosure because they are not defensive. They just want to come check things out. Hi, you can come all the way out finally? So this corner has gotten a little damp. There's a little, for whatever reason, a little isopod graveyard right here. They are pretty good about cleaning up the depth of their own. So I'm going to aerate this and I think redo kind of what's going on in this closure. I'm also going to leave this tub out and create some more natural hidey spots for her on this side of the enclosure. What do you think? Stella approves. Now there is also a little bit of mold developed right there. Isopods are in there kind of munching down on it, but I'm not too worried about it. Stella's a big animal. The isopods are in there. I'm just gonna mix it in with the additional substrate that I'm gonna add in here to kind of revamp everything.
Alrighty, so
I have to help her now.
Talk me through the game plan.
So right now I am aerating Stella's soil. So I've found with the bioactives, especially, I haven't done this manually in a while because she has such a healthy isopod colony. Mm-hmm. The isopods will generally aerate, but because she's a heavier bodied snake, I will go in and do it by hand sometimes. And
just because she packs the soil down?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And something that I've noticed is even if the top bit of soil feels like dry or is a little bit dusty, oftentimes when you mix it up, underneath has retained moisture. Mm-hmm. So you can see the color difference, or at least I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but the color difference between this soil that I've aerated and this and that over there. Over here.
Yeah, I think it's perceptible.
Yeah. So, but the other thing I want to do, because I haven't really done any soil maintenance with her since she moved in last year, I am adding in fresh substrate to kind of re-up the substrate, because substrate will naturally break down over time. And this time, I am adding cocoa husk chips from GrowMed. So they very generously gifted us this as well as a cocoa husk chip block. So I'm gonna add the majority of those, I think, mix it in with her existing soil. And this, I found adding cocoa husks helps to make the substrate a little lighter and fluffier while retaining the moisture without it being like soggy or wet or moist.
Or too packed down.
Yeah, so I'm excited to give that a try.
Very cool. And so cocoa husk block, is that a compressed cocoa fiber?
Yes, correct.
Cool.
So I really love that this brand, I didn't realize that it did both until I opened the box like a couple minutes ago. But they do both the the non-compacted as well as compacted, which is really nice because this is obviously ready to go. You can really add as much moisture as you want to it and add it where you want to add it. I haven't even added any moisture to it aside from what the mulch that I added into this mix was. So, yeah.
Can we talk real quick about your substrate mix?
Yes.
What is in there?
So there is topsoil that does not have any artificial fertilizer.
Or pesticide,
or
right?
pesticides, correct. That's really important, especially in a bioactive. It has mulch, hardwood mulch that is undyed. Really, really important that it is hardwood and undyed. And sand. So those are all 1:1:1. And then it has 2 parts sphagnum moss and another 1 part of the cocoa husk. Something that I've noticed Stella doing since I planted these easy plants is she will lay kind of back in that corner, and that squishes this easy plant down. So my goal is to, like I mentioned earlier, I'm gonna arrange it in a way that she doesn't feel like she needs that hide, because she'll have other hides available in the form of cork bark implant. So let me,
That hide right there.
so let me dig this out really quick.
This could be a project. Easy plants have very robust root structure.
They do, and she has a very robust drainage layer that they have rooted into. Wonderful. But there we go.
So the drainage layer underneath this soil, there is like mesh door screening, and then below that there's a layer of leca, which are clay hydroballs, and they help maintain moisture and humidity, but it also means that the root structure of the plants will sometimes hook itself into that mesh, and then moving stuff around can then be, need a little elbow grease.
We're on to the other side of her enclosure. Now, little tip, if you have taller trees like rubbers or ficus, you can essentially use cork bark to kind of help prop the roots up, or the base of the tree up, as well as laying out sticks to provide them options for climbing. Like, the sticks are sturdier than the plants, so she generally chooses to climb on the sticks. All right, so this side of the enclosure is definitely more dusty and dry than the other side, even when, like, you can kind of see it's just not as moist. So, Honey Pie, can you stay out while I'm making your enclosure dusty? So I actually did just plenty of spag, a little bit of sand, and some mulch in this mix. I didn't add any of the dirt, this topsoil. I am going to add plenty of the cocoa chips as well, just to add that extra little bit of moisture retaining ingredient. Ta-da! We did some pretty significant pruning on these guys, and now we're gonna add a couple of more plants and get this all set and ready to go. All right, this is the finished product. So those trees are all trimmed down. I hung a plant there, planted a new pothos there. I don't know how it will do, but we're gonna try. Move the ZZ plants around. She's already exploring her new hide. And the substrate is all nice and fresh and nice, and like, this is the perfect like amount of fluff and moisture for her particular species. She's a reticulated python. So yeah, huge thanks to GrowMed for sending over some of their cocoa husk chips. I love this stuff. It really does add some nice moisture and texture that helps keep the soil nice and moist and like fluffy and arid, which is wonderful for both her and her cleanup crew. And yeah, I definitely would not have gotten around to maintaining her enclosure if GrowMed hadn't reached out. So huge thank you to them. And that wraps up today's horribly edited video. Sorry if it was a little like disjointed. We did it over kind of a few hours. So yeah, but that's the finished product. I'm so happy with it. If you want to check out the giveaway, go to grow_med, GrowMed. We're gonna do giveaway over there. All the instructions will be on that Instagram account. So yeah, thank you again for watching. If you made it all the way through, yeah, I'm impressed. That's awesome. I'm really pleased with how our enclosure kind of spiffed up a little bit. I'm actually really happy with how the soil has maintained itself with the cleanup crew that's in there. I mean, considering there's a 30-pound python that lives in here, she's very active. I'm really pleased with how this enclosure and the bioactive setup have just maintained themselves essentially. So nice little spiff up. She seems happy. I'll see how she does without her favorite hide. And yeah, we'll might check back in next year, see how this does at 2 years. So yeah, Patreon. Patreon.com/thecurlyhairedkeeper. You are welcome to join us over there. We have some really fun, engaging, informative chit chats and weekly Zoom meetings, as well as sharing some additional like medical information and things like that. Like and subscribe to this video. We're also over on Instagram. So yeah, thank you so much, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye. Stella, are you happy? Is it Sploot approved? Yeah.